What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Clams. I'm Will, here on the North Shore of Long Island, and I set out to do a little bit of fishing today. The fishing was a little bit slow, so I grabbed my crab trap out of the back of the car, grabbed some chicken, and we are looking for green crabs. We're going to make something with the invasives. What does it mean to be invasive? So, green crabs are not from here, and they are from Europe, the European green crab. And the way that they got over here was in the water ballast of ships. So ships would suck in water at their port, and they would suck in whatever little creatures, European green crab being one of them, and then they would come over here, and while unloading their goods, they would release their ballast water, and that would send all the crabs into our area. Now, why are they bad? They're bad because they're incredibly prolific compared to our other crab species. So this area I'm in used to be a blue crab spot that you could just crush blue crab easily. Now you just get green crab, and it's because they eat the food source, they eat the blue crab, and they actually wreck the habitat that the blue crab would be in. So the grass and everything, they just destroy it. So we're gonna do our part today and catch a couple and cook them up. So one of the issues with eating green crab is that there's not a ton of meat on them, and they don't get too big. I have one in the bucket I'll show you in a minute that's actually huge for a green crab. But even with that one, the yield of the meat is pretty terrible. So you're kind of limited to making a stock, which is where we're gonna start in our meal. I haven't decided just quite yet what we're gonna eat, but I know it'll be stock based. Yeah, so that is pretty big for a green crab. It's about as big as they get. I'm gonna get my bucket ready. So I got a high tide here that's moving out. So we have the outgoing tide, so the water's moving pretty quickly here, and it is yielding a lot of crab. My last pull had like 10 in there, but a little bit smaller guys, so they fell through, which is good because we want them to be a little more substantial. Oh, there we go. See how many are in there? It's crazy. And what's crazy is that I could do this 15 more times, and I'm gonna keep coming up with more and more of the green crab. That's how many are in this area. It's wild. So they have completely destroyed the area for blue crab, which is a shame because blue crab's much more fun to cook with. All right, let's do another pull. Let's see what we got this time. Yeah, only two more. Alright, we'll go one more time, let it soak for a while, and then that'll be it. Alright, get my bucket ready in case there's any small ones. I can get the trap on top and hopefully they'll fall in there, because you don't really want to put them back in the water. Every single one we remove is a good thing. So, let's see. Oh, just small guys. All right, that's gonna be my last pull. That's more than enough. Make a really dense stock out of. So what I'm gonna do is a grilled corn chowder using the green crab stock. So right now we're gonna drive for a little bit and get to this little farm stand that'll have some really good Long Island corn. So let's go there, pick up our corn, and then we will get started on the stock. So this also could not be more perfect, but I just got a package from Starter King. And if you guys are unaware of what Starter King is, It's a fire starter, and a company that they were kind enough to kind of reach out in the beginning of this YouTube adventure, and they have stuck with me ever since. And the owner, Steve, just informed me that they are now in Lowe's, which is awesome. But if you can't get to Lowe's, if you don't have a Lowe's near you, you can go in my description, you can grab a discount on it. But what I want to explain and then they have a couple of QR codes there. If you're watching from your phone, you won't be able to do it, but from a TV, you can check it out. But what it is that they own a wax paper company for food. So it's food grade wax paper, and when you shave down the wax paper, you're left with scraps that would be ultimately swept up and thrown away. So what they're doing is taking those scraps and compressing them into these. And for each one, to light a fire, all you need is a quarter of this. Easy to break, and break it again. And that's all you need. So it's the wax and the paper, so wind doesn't stop it. It's really amazing. And I know this is a bit of a long plug for them, but it's because I believe in the company and they believed in me. When they reached out, we didn't know how far it would go or anything. And congratulations, guys, on getting into Lowe's. That's huge. Now we're going to use this to fire up our grill and grill our corn for our corn chowder. So let's get started. So now the other thing that I would like to point out about this is that it is eco-friendly, meaning there's no chemicals, it's odor-free. So when you have really good charcoal and you don't want to douse it in lighter fluid, this is a great compliment. Now it's funny, I'm going to have a tougher time getting the match lit than I will once that lights. So I want to show you the telltale signs of the green crab. So as you can see, their belly and their legs are green, but not all the time. I'm going to pull one out that actually has a red belly and legs. But what makes them distinct are these 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on either side of their eyes. And that's how you know that you have a European green crab. They really are pretty. They are a pretty crab, but unfortunately they're invasive and they're ruining our blue crab population. So we're gonna do our part. Let me grab the red one and show you that. And we're gonna dispatch these guys in a second. All I'm gonna do, send a knife right down the middle of them, right in half. And I don't know if we will show that, but so as you see, this guy is orange and red. So a little bit different, and that is a male. I actually checked, these are all males in here. It would be great to get a couple of the females out of the breeding pool, but we have all males. And this is a honker. This is a big guy. So we're gonna dispatch them, get our stock started, get our corn on the grill, and get going. So with my corn, I'm gonna, oh, there's a green crab underneath here. That guy was hiding out. Let me show this. I don't know how he got away, but he did. All right. Well, he didn't. With the corn, I'm gonna leave 2 of them raw and put 2 on the grill because I don't want all of it to be grilled. I would like some nice fresh corn in there as well. So 2 of these we will clean, put aside, and actually we're gonna use the cobs in our stock to give a little bit of sweetness. So I'm gonna get those cleaned up. So now some other things we're gonna put in our stock. I have here one yellow onion, just cut the roots off, but we're gonna keep skin on. And we'll quarter that. Then I have here some garlic. So same idea, roots off. And the reason why is because the roots are where a lot of dirt and grit can hide. So skin on that one. And we're gonna take the bottom of our scallions here. Same thing, cut those roots off. And take the sticker off. Alright, now I'm going to turn my heat on, and we threw these guys into the freezer to slow them down, and all we're doing is cutting them in half like that, which is dispatching them. I was going to do it with a knife, but this is much faster. We're going to add a couple of bay leaves, some black peppercorns, and a little bit of sea salt. Okay, I brought my heat all the way back up. Now we add our water. Now this I'm going to bring up to a boil, down to a simmer, and we're going to let it simmer for at least an hour and a half. So I want to get everything else ready for when the stock's ready. We can start making the chowder right away. So I have little red potatoes. Yeah, I guess we'll do in quarters. Probably the equivalent of 1.5 regular size baking potatoes. Alright, now what I have are pearl onions. That's going to be the onion that we put in our chowder. So the same thing with these, I'm going to peel them and then probably just cut them in half to leave them. This is going to be a really hearty chowder. We're just going to do them right in half, and they are, you know, they'll probably fall apart a little bit inside of our soup, but that's okay. I wish they were just a little bit smaller, because then I would leave them whole, kind of like that, which would be super cool, but we're working with what we got. So these I'm going to do the equivalent of about 1 onion. Okay, we got everything ready. So now we're gonna skim the stock and then wait about another hour or so. So I just want to show you something inside here. So yes, there is a tiny bit of meat in there. I'll actually pick that claw, but for the most part, I'm not going to pick through all of this. So to get all of that inside of our stock, what I'm going to do, I have a potato masher here. I'm going to move the corn out of the way, and we are going to crush each of those crabs to get everything out of them. And that is going to release a lot of flavor. So as you can see by smashing that, now all those little particles of meat are in our stock. So so we don't have to go ahead and pick everything, and that has so much flavor in it. So a lot of chowders start with bacon to get the fat and everything else. I don't want to do bacon in this because I don't want to take away the subtle sweetness of that crab and just completely cover it up. So we're just going to do olive oil. Throw in our garlic and pearl onions. A little bit of salt to get those going. I'm not going to move those pearl onions too much because I want them to stay intact. And it's okay if they take on a little bit of color. We're also not sweating these down all the way. We're just warming them up because they're going to cook inside the soup. Now our potatoes. Do a bit of cracked black pepper in there. Touch of salt for the potato. Now our corn. And now we're going to add just a little handful of flour to make our roux. So maybe about, I don't know, 3 tablespoons. This will help thicken up the chowder. So I have here some Sicilian oregano florets, and a little bit of this goes a very long way. So I'm not going to put too much, but because that'll bloom inside the soup and could actually overtake it, but a little bit's going to be absolutely wonderful in there. Alright, now we can add our stock. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil, down to a simmer for about 20 minutes. Till those potatoes are cooked through, and then we'll add our cream. Alright, we've been simmering about 20 minutes. Looking good, looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my heat all the way back up to a rolling boil. That smells good. And we're gonna add, I was gonna put cream in, but I'm gonna go half and half. Just because it's summer, you know, I have the flour in there, it's gonna be thick. I don't want it too thick. So we'll do a little bit at a time. Okay, now we'll give a taste to adjust for seasoning. That is really good. And I know it doesn't give the appearance, but it is light. Okay, we're gonna let this cook another 10 minutes. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, a little more pepper, but not much. The cream kind of dulled it out a little bit, but that'll bring it back. Well, all right. Cheers. Got a little bit of everything on that bite. Because of the corn, even though it's roasted, it's a light, sweet flavor. So the word chowder in summer probably turns some people off. Ooh, that broth. But it's light. It's light and it's sweet, but yet it's hearty and it'll fill you up but not weigh you down, if that makes sense. And those pearl onions have a nice little bite to them. They're pretty good. For a bad day of fishing, this is pretty good. Pretty good result. Green crabs, like I said, they're invasive. Do your part. You know, try to do as much as you can whenever you see them. If you do see them, take them out of the water and use them as bait. Use them as anything. Just use them. Get rid of them. They make probably one of the best stock bases and broths of any shellfish there is. It's clean, sweet, a little bit saltier than blue crab. It's amazing. I don't have much to say. Well, all right, guys. Big thank you to Starter King. Check them out. Go to my description. You can get money off. If you don't want to do mail order or do all that, go to Lowe's. They're going to start carrying them, I believe. They're going to be in there August through November to see how it goes. So it'll help them out a lot if you go pick up a pack of it, and it's an amazing product. I am going to enjoy this and enjoy this lovely, very breezy, but lovely day. And I will see you guys on the next one.